we are going to talk about the United Arab Emirates' growth and development through the power of businesses. The United Arab Emirates is a federation located in the Arabian Peninsula. It formed in 1971 and is constituted by 7 emirates: Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Ajman, Ras Al Khaimah, Sharjah, Fujairah, and Al Quwain. The country was nothing more than an impoverished desert back in the 1980s. However, in 2015, the country had a GDP per capita of $67,600, making it the 12th largest in the world. The question is, how is this possible? Because of the GDP composition by the sector of origin. According to the export percentages with the OEC Observatory of the Economics Complexity, there is a mineral majority in exportation, which includes crude oil, gold, refined petroleum, petroleum gas, jeweler and raw aluminium in the top level. As we can see on the previous percentages, oil occupies 52% of the exportation, which is a tool and a benefit for the country's growth and development. In 2014, the United Arab Emirates exported $186 billion, making it the 8th largest exporter in the world. The exports between 2009 and 2014 have increased at an annualized rate of 16.8%, which means they increased their profit $100.5 billion annually. First, we will talk about the primary sector, which is agriculture. It provides less than 1% to the GDP, but the second part, which is the exploitation of the raw materials, is around 36% of the GDP. It is estimated that the Arab Emirates will have more than 100 years unlimited oil reserves. About 18.5% of the GDP of the Arab Emirates is developed in the secondary sector. The manufactured activity has been growing in the last decade, having a great development with manufactured materials such as metal treatment, furniture, aluminum production, construction materials, and fertilizers. As we mentioned before, the tertiary sector, which includes exportation and international commerce, has the 44.5% of the GDP. Then, if we talk about the percentages, the primary sector would occupy 37% of the GDP, while the secondary has 18.5% and the tertiary has a majority of 44.5%. In this 44.5%, we also have tertiary activities, which are summed to the GDP. These tertiary activities are air transportation, tourism, and financial activities. The tertiary activities we mentioned before were developed in order to, in the future, not rely solely on exportation. This means the country's growth and development on the business and economic sector depends in a high level on the tertiary sector of industry. For example, the construction of Dubai, the touristic target, explains why transportation products and machines account for almost 50% of the country's imports, which in 2014 the Emirates imported $213 billion, making it the 24th largest importer in the world that year. Some examples are the waste management problem that has as consequence the marine and coastal pollution. Oil spills also produce a lot of pollution. UAE is mostly desert, so if their supplies of water are contaminated, they will lack of water needed for activities of the third sector. The government of the UAE did a series of strategies to encourage economic diversification, which is the process in which a growing range of economic outputs is produced, and lead to a brilliant solution. The government did a strategy. It changed their market policies and allowed free trade zones. These policies encourage business freedom because they offer 100% foreign ownership and zero taxes. Soon, people started to open their own businesses and foreign companies arrived quickly.
Created using Powtoon.